Walcheren is a former island in the province of Zeeland in the Netherlands at the mouth of the Scheldt estuary. It lies between the Oosterschelde in the north and the Westerschelde in the south and is roughly the shape of a rhombus. The two sides facing the North Sea consist of dunes. The rest of its coastline is made up of dykes. Middelburg lies at its center. This city is the provincial capital, and Vlissingen 9 kilometres to the south is the main harbour. The third municipality is Veer. Originally, Walcheren was an island, but polders and a dam across the Oosterschelde have connected it to the island of Zuid-Beveland, which in turn has been connected to the North Brabant mainland. History. Early history. As early as Roman times, the island functioned as a point of departure for ships going to Britain. It had a temple of the goddess Helena, who was popular with those who braved the waters of the North Sea. The Romans called it Walcheren, a term most likely associated with Waller, the name Germans used for all foreign peoples. Walcheren became the seat of the Danish Viking Harald, who conquered what would become the Netherlands together with his brother Rorik in the 9th century. One French theory has it that Ibn Rushd described Walcheren when reporting on the seat of the Kurgan of the Rus. Another French theory mentions Walcheren as the seat of Hades, described by Homer. Napoleonic Wars. Starting on the 30th of July 1809, a British armed force of 39,000 men landed on Walcheren, the Walcheren Campaign, with a view to assisting the Austrians in the war against Napoleon, and attacking the French fleet moored at Flushing. The expedition turned into a disaster. The Austrians had already been decisively defeated at the Battle of Wagram in early July and were suing for peace. Meanwhile, the French fleet had moved to Antwerp, and the British lost over 4,000 men to a disease called Walcheren fever, thought to be a combination of malaria and typhus, as well as to enemy action. The French suffered some 4,000 dead, wounded and captured. With the strategic reasons for the campaign gone and the worsening conditions, the British force was withdrawn in December. World War II. Strategically placed at the mouth of the river Scheldt, Walcheren was the key that allowed use of the deep water port of Antwerp. Located further upstream on the right bank of the southern estuary of the river, it was fought over in 1940 between Dutch and German troops, and again in 1944 in the Battle of Walcheren Island, the fourth and final stage of the Battle of the Scheldt. On 3 October 1944, the RAF bombed the sea wall at Westerschelde, causing flooding. The 2nd Canadian Infantry Division cleared Zuid-Beveland to the east and approached the island on 31 October 1944. The plan was to cross the Slough Channel, but leading troops of the 5th Canadian Brigade found that assault boats were useless in the deep muck of the channel. The only route open was the 40 meters wide Walcheren Causeway, a mile-long land bridge from Zuid-Beveland to the island. The Canadian Black Watch sent a company across on the evening of the 31st of October, but were stopped. The Calgary Highlanders sent 2 companies over in succession, the second attack opening up a bridgehead on the island. The Highlanders were eventually thrown back, having lost 64 killed and wounded. Le Régiment de Maisonneuve relieved them on the causeway, followed by the Glasgow Highlanders of the British Army. Meanwhile, on the 1st of November 1944, the British Special Service Brigade landed in the village of Westerschelde in order to silence the German coastal batteries looking out over the Scheldt. The amphibious assault proved a success, and by the 8th of November, all German resistance on the island had been overrun. Topography. Topographic map of Walcheren, 2010-2011. Click to enlarge.